My name is Diego, and I was there when Hannah's story changed forever. It was a chilly afternoon on October 12, 2022, in downtown Seattle, where she stood on the corner of 5th and Pine, clutching a crumpled letter worth more than just paper, a value of dreams and shattered hopes. Her ex-husband had left her with nothing but empty promises, yet there she stood, a fierce resolve in her eyes. As her heart raced, she smiled bravely, masking the turmoil within. The scent of rain on the pavement filled the air, mingling with the sweet notes of birds chirping nearby. But beneath that beauty lay a profound heartbreak, the kind that lingers long after love has faded. She smiled but trembled, caught between the remnants of joy and the shadows of despair. How can blood turn to poison like this? What nobody knew was that this moment would set off a chain of events that would change everything. Earlier that day, as she prepared to confront her past, preserve the original language of the text. They had sat together in their cozy living room, the warmth of the fire contrasting with the chill of her news. "I can't let him win," she had said, her voice steady but her eyes glistening with unshed tears. It was a simple declaration, yet it carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears and hopes. In that moment, she understood that she wasn't alone. Their support was a lifeline that would guide her through the darkness. Now, as she stood on that corner, Hannah felt the power of their love fueling her resolve. What she didn't know was that the choices she made today would echo far beyond that intersection, setting into motion a future she could hardly imagine. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the backyard as Hannah moved about the kitchen, preparing for the family dinner. The scent of marinated ribs sizzling on the grill wafted through the open window, mixing with the fresh smell of cut grass and the sweet notes of blooming flowers. It was a perfect evening for a gathering, and Hannah's heart swelled with hope as she set the table with care. She had spent hours planning this meal, eager to impress her husband, Mark, and his family, especially after the tension that had been brewing over the last few weeks. "Just like Mom used to make," she murmured to herself, arranging the plates. The thought of Mark's mother brought a bittersweet pang to her chest. She had always admired the way his mother had embraced family traditions, the love woven into every dish. Hannah longed to bridge the gap that had formed between her and Mark since his mother's passing. She wanted to feel connected to the family she had married into, to honor the legacy of a woman who had meant so much to her husband. As the guests began to arrive, laughter and chatter filled the air, and Hannah felt a sense of excitement bubbling within her. She greeted Claire, Mark's sister, with a warm smile, but Claire's expression was cool, her eyes narrowing slightly as she surveyed the spread. "Looks like you went all out, Hannah," Claire remarked, her tone laced with sarcasm. "Thanks. I thought we could all use a little family bonding tonight," Hannah replied, trying to keep her voice light, though she could feel the tension crackling between them. Mark entered the porch with a carefree attitude, his laughter ringing out as he embraced his friends. "Who's ready to feast?" he announced, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. But then, as if to deflate the moment, he added, "Honestly, my mom would roll her eyes at all of this. She's just an old relic, right?" Hannah's heart sank at his words. The air felt suddenly heavy, a laughter around her fading into an uncomfortable silence. "Oh my God, I can't believe this," she thought, the sting of betrayal cutting deeper than she expected. She felt caught between the warmth of her love for Mark and the cold truth of how he dismissed his own mother's memory. She glanced at Claire, whose expression twisted into a smirk. It was a reminder of the rift that had been growing between them, a rift fueled by jealousy and resentment. Hannah could feel Claire's satisfaction at Mark's words, and she steeled herself against the emotion that threatened to spill over. "Mark, come on. Your mom was a wonderful cook. This is a way to honor her," Hannah said, her voice steady, though her insides churned with anxiety. Mark shrugged, unfazed. "Yeah, but we're all adults here. Time to move on. You know how it is, right?"
Cultural reflection: in the porch, it hurt like betrayal. Hannah felt a rush of heat in her cheeks. It was the same feeling she had when she first met Mark's family, when she realized the weight of expectations she was trying to meet. She had tried so hard to fit in, to be the perfect daughter-in-law, but now she felt like an outsider in her own home. "Dinner's almost ready," she called out, forcing a smile as she stepped back into the kitchen, the sounds of the gathering fading behind her. She needed a moment to collect herself, to find a way to reconcile the love she felt for Mark and the resentment that simmered beneath the surface. Robert, her loyal friend, slipped into the kitchen, sensing her distress. "You okay?" he asked softly, leaning against the counter. Hannah sighed, pouring herself a glass of water. I can't believe how dismissive he is about his own mother. It's like she never mattered to him at all." "Sometimes people deal with grief in strange ways. Maybe he's scared to confront how much he lost," Robert suggested, his brow furrowed in concern. "But it feels like betrayal to me," Hannah admitted, her voice cracking slightly. "I want to honor her memory, but he acts like she was just nothing." Robert nodded, understanding her struggle. "You're doing your best, Hannah. Just keep your heart open. Sometimes the truth comes out when you least expect it." The thought lingered in her mind as she returned to the porch, where laughter resumed, though it felt strained. As they gathered around the table, the conversation flowed, but Hannah felt adrift. She served the ribs, her hands steady, but her heart raced with the weight of unspoken truths. Then, in a moment that caught everyone off guard, Claire leaned forward and said, "You know, Hannah, I found something of Mom's recently, a letter she wrote before she passed." Hannah's breath caught in her throat. She hadn't known about any letter, and the sudden shift in the atmosphere was palpable. "What letter?" Mark asked, the lightness in his tone replaced by a curious edge. Claire smirked, a glint of satisfaction in her eyes. "Oh, just a little something that might change your perspective on her." Hannah's heart raced as she met Claire's gaze. This was unexpected, and the tension in the air thickened. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "I'll read it later," Claire replied, her tone teasing. "But it might just shed some light on how Mom really felt about you, Hannah." Hannah felt her pulse quicken. What could the letter possibly say? She exchanged a glance with Robert, whose expression mirrored her concern. That moment at the porch changed everything. As the dinner continued, laughter echoed around them, but Hannah felt a storm brewing within. She had no idea that the past was about to unravel in ways she never expected, shattering the facade of normalcy she had clung to. Hannah gazed out the window. "What a beautiful day," she whispered. Mark noticed her distant look. "You seem lost in thought." The rain had just stopped, leaving a fresh scent of wet pavement in the air as Hannah stood in the backyard, watching the clouds drift apart. The distant sound of traffic buzzed softly in the background, a reminder of the world moving on while she felt frozen in place. She had been preparing for the family dinner, but her mind was elsewhere, tangled in the web of uncertainty and secrets. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, breaking the silence. It was Robert, her closest friend, and she answered quickly, hoping for a distraction from her swirling thoughts. "Hannah, you need to sit down," he said, his voice serious. "What is it?" she replied, concern creeping into her tone. "It's Mark's mother, Eleanor. She's been seriously ill, and Mark hasn't told you." "He's been estranged from her for a while now," Robert explained. Hannah's heart sank. She had always admired Eleanor, who had treated her like a daughter. "Oh my God, I can't believe this. Why wouldn't he tell me?" "I don't know, but it sounds like he's been trying to keep you from the truth," Robert said, his tone softening. "You deserve to know." After hanging up, Hannah felt a mix of anger and betrayal swirling inside her. How could Mark keep something so significant from her? The very foundation of their relationship felt shaky now. She needed to confront him, but first she needed to understand the whole picture.
Later that evening, as the family gathered for dinner, the aroma of marinated ribs filled the backyard, masking her anxiety. Claire, her sister, arrived with a smirk that made Hannah's skin crawl. Claire had never been particularly fond of Hannah, and there was an underlying tension that always seemed to bubble just beneath the surface. "Nice spread you've got here," Claire remarked, eyeing the table with feigned enthusiasm. "Thanks," Hannah replied, trying to keep her composure. "I wanted to make it special for everyone." As they sat down, Mark arrived, his demeanor casual, but Hannah noticed the tension in his shoulders. He seemed oblivious to the storm brewing inside her. "How was your day?" he asked, taking a seat next to her. Hannah took a deep breath, preserving herself for the confrontation. "We need to talk about your mother." Mark's expression shifted, a flicker of something, fear, guilt, crossing his face. "What about her?" "You didn't tell me she was sick, Mark. Why would you hide that from me?" He shifted uncomfortably in his chair, glancing at Claire, who looked on with a mixture of amusement and disdain. "I didn't want to upset you." "Upset me? You've been keeping her illness a secret. That's not just upsetting, it feels like betrayal," Hannah said, her voice rising. Mark sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "I thought it would be easier this way. We've had our differences, and I didn't want to drag you into that." "Drag me into what? Your family drama?" Hannah replied, feeling her heart race. "I care about Eleanor. She's been there for me when you weren't." Claire smirked, leaning in. "You always did have a soft spot for the mother figure, didn't you, Hannah?" Hannah shot her a glare, but Claire just shrugged, unfazed. "I found a box of letters in the attic," Hannah said suddenly, the words spilling out before she could stop herself. "One of them was from Eleanor, addressed to me. She expressed her love and concern, and her disappointment in your choices, Mark." Mark's face paled, and Claire's smirk faded. "What are you talking about?" "I read it, Mark. She was worried about you, about how you were treating her and your own family," Hannah said, her voice trembling. "I never knew she felt that way." Mark opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. The silence was heavy, filled only by the distant sound of traffic and the faint smell of rain lingering in the air. The atmosphere was thick with unspoken emotions, and Hannah could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" Hannah whispered, her heart aching with the truth of the letters. Mark's expression shifted, revealing a vulnerability that she had never seen before. "I thought I could handle it on my own. I was ashamed of my family, of my choices." "Your choices affect us all, Mark," Hannah said softly. "I can't support you if you're keeping me in the dark." Just then, Claire chimed in. "Well, it sounds like you've got a lot to sort out, don't you? Maybe you should have thought about that before marrying into this mess." Hannah's anger flared again, but she held her ground. This was about more than just family drama. This was about trust, about love, and about the truth that had been buried under years of resentment. As the tension escalated, Mark's expression shifted from defensive to regretful. "I can't lose you, Hannah. I want to make this right." In that moment, she realized that the truth could be both a burden and a blessing. It was a chance for healing, for understanding, and for rebuilding a connection that felt fragile but was worth fighting for. She took a deep breath, feeling a sense of clarity amidst the chaos. "Then let's start with the truth, Mark. No more secrets." And as the rain began to fall again, Hannah felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this was the beginning of a new chapter, one where love could prevail over the shadows of the past. Hannah's heart raced as she parked her car outside Mark's childhood home. The air was thick with the scent of rain on pavement, a familiar smell that always seemed to bring her a sense of nostalgia. Today, however, it felt more like a prelude to a storm, the kind that churns in the distance before it finally breaks. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. Eleanor was bedridden, her frail figure a shadow of the vibrant woman Hannah had heard stories about. As Hannah stepped into the dimly lit room, the soft sound of wind chimes from the porch drifted in, mingling with the silence. "Oh my God," she whispered, her heart sinking at the sight of Mark's mother, her once bright spirit now dulled by illness. "Hannah, dear," Eleanor croaked, her voice barely above a whisper. "You came." "I did," Hannah replied, forcing a smile as she approached the bedside. I thought maybe we could talk." Eleanor's eyes sparkled with gratitude. "I've wanted to speak with you, to share some things. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I think it's time to set things right." Hannah sat down, feeling a flicker of hope. "I want that too, Eleanor. I know things have been complicated between us, especially with Mark." Eleanor sighed, a deep, heavy sound that filled the room. "He's always been my little boy, but I've failed him in ways I can't even count. I wanted to protect him from my own regrets, but in doing so, I pushed him away." As Eleanor spoke, Hannah felt the weight of her own struggles lift just a little. The stories poured out, sacrifices made, dreams deferred, and the ache of unfulfilled hopes. With every word, Hannah began to see the woman beneath the hardened exterior, a mother who had loved fiercely but had also been deeply flawed. "Sometimes I think he doesn't see how much I care," Eleanor continued, her voice breaking. "I just want him to come back to me, to understand that I'm not the enemy." "I can't believe this," Hannah said, her eyes welling with tears. "You've carried this burden alone for so long. I thought I was doing what was best for him, but all I did was push him away," Eleanor admitted, her gaze faltering. "I'm scared, Hannah, scared that I won't have the chance to make things right." "Let's try together," Hannah urged, her heart swelling with determination. "I know he loves you. I think he just needs a little nudge to see it." At that moment, Claire entered the room, her expression a mixture of surprise and disdain. "What's going on here?" she asked, her voice sharp. "You shouldn't be here, Hannah." "Claire," Eleanor said softly, "I need her here. I need both of you." Claire scoffed, crossing her arms. "You think she's going to fix everything? You're dreaming, Mom." "Stop it," Hannah interjected, her voice steady. "This isn't about us. It's about you and your mother. Can't you see that?" Claire's expression flickered, momentarily taken aback. "Why do you care so much? You're just trying to get back at Mark, aren't you?" Hannah felt a fire ignite within her. "I'm trying to mend what's been broken. I want to see you both heal, but I can't do it alone." The room fell silent as Claire stared at her, uncertainty clouding her eyes. Just then, Eleanor reached out, her frail hand grasping Hannah's. "You're right. We can't keep living in this cycle of hurt. We need to break free." The tension in the room shifted, and for the first time, Hannah felt a sense of unity forming. "We can do this," she whispered, her heart pounding with renewed hope. "But we have to be honest with each other." Claire finally softened. Maybe I've been holding on to my grudges for too long. I just wanted to protect you, Mom." Eleanor's eyes filled with tears. "Oh, my sweet girl. I never wanted you to feel that way. I only wanted to love you both." As they spoke, Hannah's mind raced. Just then, something clicked within her. "Claire, do you remember that letter? The one Mom asked you to deliver to me?" Claire furrowed her brow, confusion washing over her. "What letter?" "The one Eleanor wrote before she got sick," Hannah said, the words tumbling out. "She poured her heart into it." "I thought it was trash," Claire exclaimed, her voice rising. "I threw it away." Hannah's heart sank. "What? You what?" Claire's eyes widened. "I didn't know it was important." Eleanor's face paled, and she gasped. "That letter, it was everything. It contained my hopes for you both." Hannah felt a chill run down her spine. "We need to find it, Claire. We can't let that be lost. It might change everything." "I'll help," Claire said, her voice cracking. "I'm so sorry, Hannah." As they united in a shared mission, hope blossomed in the room like the first rays of sunlight breaking through a stormy sky. They had a a chance to heal wounds long festering and to bring their fractured family back together. And as they set out to uncover the letter, Hannah knew that, no matter the outcome, they were finally moving forward. "I can't believe you did this!" Hannah exclaimed. Mark tried to explain, but words failed him. Hannah stood on the porch, the early morning sun casting a warm glow over the neighborhood. The smell of fresh coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the faint aroma of pancakes sizzling on the stove inside. She held the journal tightly in her hands, its pages worn and filled with Eleanor's delicate handwriting. The distant sound of traffic reminded her of how everything outside seemed so normal, while her heart felt anything but. She had spent the entire night reading through Eleanor's thoughts, unraveling the complexities of a woman she had barely known. The words poured out with a raw honesty that both captivated and pained her. Eleanor had written about her love for Mark, how she had always wanted the best for him, and how her heart ached with regret. But Hannah couldn't ignore the undercurrent of pain, the hints of a fractured relationship that had shaped Mark into the man he was today. With determination, she stepped back inside the house, the sun's rays retreating as the door closed behind her. Mark was in the kitchen, pouring himself a cup of coffee, the steam swirling up like the tension that filled the air. He turned to her, a flash of confusion crossing his face as he noticed the journal. "Hannah, what's wrong?" he asked, his voice tinged with apprehension. She took a deep breath, her heart racing. "I read Eleanor's journal, Mark. She loved you deeply, but there's so much more to the story than you've told me." Mark's expression hardened. "You shouldn't have done that. Her past doesn't define who I am now." Hannah's heart sank at his reaction. "But it does. She was trying to reach out to you, to express her love before she died. You need to understand her perspective." Mark slammed his coffee cup down, the ceramic clinking harshly against the countertop. "You don't get it. You only see one side. She was a terrible mother. You have no idea what I went through as a kid." The words hung in the air, thick with unspoken pain. Hannah's mind raced, desperate to understand. "What do you mean? What happened?" He ran a hand through his hair, frustration radiating off him like heat from the stove. "There was a time I needed her the most. I was just a kid, and she chose her own battles over me. I was left to deal with everything alone." Hannah took a step back, the weight of his words crashing down like waves on a rocky shore. "Mark, I'm so sorry. I had no idea." He glanced away, the vulnerability in his eyes fleeting. "She didn't care about my needs. I was always second to her." "I don't want to dig up the past, Hannah. It's over." "But it's not just about you," she pressed, her voice trembling. "You can't ignore how that shaped you. What if it's not as black and white as you think?" Mark shook his head, anger flaring. "You don't know what you're talking about. I can't believe you defend her after everything." "Defending her? No. I just want to understand," she replied, her voice rising, frustration bubbling to the surface. "You've pushed me away for so long with your resentment. Maybe it's time to let it go." In that moment, she noticed a flicker of emotion in his eyes, one she hadn't seen in years. The distance between them felt insurmountable, yet she could sense a crack forming. "Oh my God, Mark, please, just listen to what she wanted to say." Mark's breath hitched, his walls momentarily wavering. "And what if I don't want to hear it?" "Then you're only hurting yourself," she countered, hoping to reach him. "You can't keep holding on to this anger. It's consuming you." He clenched his fists, his knuckles turning white. "You think I'm angry? I'm not angry, Hannah. I'm just done with all of it." But Hannah could see the turmoil swirling beneath the surface, a storm of unresolved feelings that he was desperately trying to suppress. "But you're not done with her, are you? You still care, even if you won't admit it." He turned away, staring out the window at the bright morning. The distant traffic sounded louder now, a constant reminder of the world outside that kept moving forward. "I don't know, Hannah. I really don't." As silence enveloped them, Hannah felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps they were on the brink of something transformative. "Let's read it together," she suggested softly, holding the journal out to him. "Maybe we can find a way to heal." Mark hesitated, his eyes darting between the journal and her face. "I don't want to relive it," he murmured, but his voice lacked conviction. "Then don't. Just listen. Maybe it's time to face the truth, whatever that is," she said gently, her heart pounding. Finally, he took a deep breath, his shoulders slumping slightly. "Fine, but if this goes south, I'm blaming you." Hannah couldn't help but smile, relieved yet apprehensive. "I can handle the blame if it means we can move forward." As they sat together at the kitchen table, the journal opened between them. She felt a surge of determination. This was the moment that could change everything. The pages held secrets waiting to be uncovered, and perhaps, just perhaps, they would finally bridge the gap that had formed between them. In that quiet kitchen, with the smell of pancakes lingering and the sound of life moving outside, Hannah realized that sometimes the hardest battles are the ones we fight within ourselves. It was time to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. "Oh my God," Hannah whispered in disbelief. "I can explain everything," Mark said desperately. Hannah stood in the kitchen, the savory aroma of marinated ribs sizzling on the grill wafting through the open window. The faint sound of birds chirping outside brought a sense of calm, but her heart felt heavy. She had spent the last few days wrestling with her thoughts, the weight of family secrets pressing down on her. Today, she was determined to create a space where healing could begin. As she moved around the kitchen, preparing for the family gathering, she thought about how this dinner could bring everyone together. She could almost hear Eleanor's voice in her head, urging her to mend the rift between Mark and his mother. "Oh my God," she whispered to herself, remembering how Mark had brushed off his mother's importance so casually. But deep down, she knew better. Setting the table with care, she arranged the plates, silverware, and glasses, each piece meticulously placed to create a welcoming atmosphere. She imagined the laughter, the stories, and the reconciliation that could unfold tonight. But as the sun began to set, painting the sky in warm hues of orange and pink, her hope was tinged with uncertainty. Claire's arrival was marked by a heavy silence that fell over the room. Hannah had invited her sister, hoping that the spirit of the evening would soften Claire's jealousy and resentment. Claire walked in with a scowl, her arms crossed tightly against her chest, as if she were preparing for battle. "This better not turn into one of your sappy family bonding sessions," she snapped, eyeing the beautifully set table. Hannah took a deep breath, suppressing her frustration. "It's not about that, Claire. It's about healing. We need to come together for Mark and his mother." Claire rolled her eyes, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Right, because that's going to solve everything." But Hannah held her ground, determined to create a moment of connection, even if it felt like an uphill battle. The doorbell rang, and Hannah's heart raced. She opened the door to find Mark standing there, his expression a mixture of apprehension and surprise. "Hey," he said, stepping inside and taking in the scene. His gaze flickered to Claire, who was still visibly tense. "What's going on?" Hannah smiled, trying to mask her anxiety. "I thought it would be nice to have a family dinner. I invited your mom, too." Mark's face tightened. "My mother? Hannah, you know how she feels about all this. She doesn't want to be here." With a determined spark in her eyes, Hannah replied, "But she needs to be here, Mark. We all do. This could be the moment to mend things." He hesitated, glancing at Claire and then back at Hannah. "I don't know." Just then, Eleanor arrived, her frail figure appearing in the doorway, hesitant yet hopeful. Hannah's heart sank at the sight of her, a mixture of compassion and concern washing over her. Eleanor's eyes scanned the room, landing on Mark, who stood frozen in place. "Honey," Eleanor said softly, her voice trembling. "I came as soon as I could." The atmosphere shifted, the weight of unspoken words filling the space. Hannah watched as Mark's defenses began to crumble, revealing the vulnerability beneath his charming exterior. "Mom," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. Eleanor stepped forward, her gaze steady. "I know we've had our differences, but I don't want to lose you. Not now." Claire crossed her arms tighter, her jealousy bubbling just beneath the surface. "Great, another emotional moment," she muttered. "Just what we need." Hannah turned to Claire, frustration flaring. "This isn't just about you, Claire. It's about family, about healing." The tension in the room became palpable, and Hannah felt her heart racing as she glanced at Robert, who had quietly entered, sensing the emotional storm brewing. "Hannah's right," he said, his voice calm and steady. "We need to talk about everything, even the hard stuff." Just as Eleanor opened her mouth to speak, Mark interrupted, a mix of anger and fear coloring his words. "You think just because we sit down for dinner, everything will be fine? You don't understand how deep this goes." Hannah felt her heart sink at the desperation in his voice. "Mark, please, let's just—" But before she could finish, Eleanor pulled out a letter from her purse, her hands shaking slightly. "I wrote this for you, Mark, before I got sick. I wanted you to know how much you mean to me." Hannah felt a surge of hope as Eleanor unfolded the letter. The smell of rain on the pavement wafted in through the open window, mingling with the scent of BBQ, creating a bittersweet atmosphere. Mark's expression shifted as he took the letter from Eleanor, his eyes widening as he read the words written in his mother's shaky hand. "I can't believe this," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. As Mark read, the tension in the room began to dissolve. Claire's posture relaxed slightly, and even she seemed to sense the gravity of the moment. Hannah's heart raced, knowing that this could be the turning point they all desperately needed. Finally, Mark looked up, tears brimming in his eyes. "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't know." In that living room, amidst the BBQ and the lingering scent of rain, hope flickered like a candle. Hannah felt the weight of family secrets lift, if only for a moment, as they stood on the brink of something new. The scent of marinated ribs wafted through the air as Hannah stood at the kitchen counter, her heart pounding in her chest. The family dinner had begun, and the atmosphere was thick with unspoken tensions. She could hear the wind chimes outside, clinking softly in the evening breeze, a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside the house. As guests filled the dining room, Hannah felt the weight of Eleanor's journal in her pocket, a secret she could no longer keep. The pages were filled with Eleanor's raw emotions, her regrets, and a heartfelt apology that could bridge the rift between Mark and his mother. But the time to reveal it had to be right. "Where's the wine?" Claire snapped, her voice dripping with irritation. "I thought you said you'd have everything ready." Hannah forced a smile, trying to mask her unease. "It's coming, Claire. Just a moment." She poured the wine, but her hands trembled slightly, betraying her calm facade. Mark had been distant since they arrived, his eyes occasionally darting toward Eleanor, who sat in her wheelchair, frail and quiet. "Can we talk about this?" Mark finally said, breaking the silence that had settled over the table like a heavy fog. Eleanor looked up, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "What's there to talk about, Mark? You've made it clear I mean nothing to you." Her voice was barely above a whisper, but the pain was palpable. "I didn't mean it like that," Mark said, his voice tightening. "You never understood me. You pushed me away. And I had to fend for myself." "Oh my God," Hannah breathed, feeling her heart sink. This was it, the moment everything spiraled. She had to intervene. "Mark, you're not being fair. Your mother—" "Don't you dare defend her!" he shouted, slamming his fist on the table. The noise echoed through the room, silencing everyone. "You don't know what it was like for me growing up. You didn't live it!" Claire leaned forward, her eyes glimmering with a mix of glee and malice. "Maybe you should let Hannah read that journal of yours, Mark. It might show you a different perspective." The laughter in Claire's voice cut through Hannah like a knife.
The tension was unbearable, and she could feel Robert's reassuring presence beside her, silently urging her to speak up. Taking a deep breath, Hannah reached into her pocket and pulled out Eleanor's letter. "I have something to share," she announced, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "This is from Eleanor."
"It's a letter she wrote before." Hannah hesitated, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. "Before she got sick." Mark's expression shifted from anger to confusion, and Eleanor's eyes widened. "What letter?" she asked, her voice cracking. Hannah unfolded the paper, her hands trembling slightly. "It's an apology, Mark, one that I think you both need to hear." She began to read aloud, her voice clear and resolute, as she recited Eleanor's heartfelt words, filled with regret and longing for reconciliation. "I wish I could take back the hurtful things I've said," she read, "and I hope you can forgive me. I've always loved you, even when it didn't seem that way." Tears streamed down Eleanor's cheeks, and Hannah's heart ached as she glanced at Mark, who was visibly shaken. "I can't believe this," he whispered, his bravado crumbling. You felt that way?" "Yes, Mark," Eleanor said softly, her voice trembling. "I was wrong. I let my own fears cloud my judgment. And I pushed you away when all I wanted was to love you." Hannah felt the air shift, the tension dissolving as the truth hung heavily in the room. But then, just as she thought the moment had turned a corner, Claire scoffed. "Oh, please, this is just a ploy to manipulate you, Mark. Don't fall for it." Mark shot her a furious look. "Shut up, Claire. This isn't about you." But Claire pressed on, her voice dripping with disdain. "You've always been the favorite, haven't you? This is just more of her nonsense." The storm of emotions erupted once more, but this time Hannah stood firm. "No, Claire, it's not nonsense. It's a chance for healing, something you've never wanted for us." "Why should I care?" Claire snapped back. "You're the one who took him away from me." "Enough," Mark shouted, slamming his hands on the table again. "This isn't helping anyone. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear this, and I won't let you twist it into something ugly." In that moment of vulnerability, Mark turned to Eleanor, his voice softening. "I'm sorry for the things I said too, Mom. The words hung in the air, and it was as if time stood still. Eleanor's eyes filled with hope, and she reached out, grasping Mark's hand. "We can fix this. We can find a way back to each other." Hannah looked around the room, feeling a newfound strength coursing through her. "It starts with honesty," she said gently. "Let's not let the past dictate our future." As the wind chimes tinkled softly outside, a sense of peace settled over the group. They were all still standing on the brink, but for the first time, it felt like they could take a step back and breathe. The dinner might have been filled with tension, but perhaps it was also the beginning of something new, a chance for healing, for forgiveness, and for family to come together again. "Enough!" Hannah shouted, her voice echoing. "Please, let me speak," Mark pleaded. "There's nothing left to say," Hannah finalized. The morning sun peeked through the trees, casting a warm glow on the porch where Hannah sat, a steaming cup of coffee cradled in her hands. The sweet aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the soft chirping of birds, a stark contrast to the storm of emotions swirling in her heart. She stared out at the yard, where the wind gently rustled the leaves, the peaceful scene almost mocking the turmoil she felt inside. Her mind replayed the events of the previous evening. After confronting Mark about the truth hidden in Eleanor's journal, she had felt a mix of fear and relief. When she revealed the letter Eleanor had written, expressing her love and regret, Hannah had witnessed a transformation in Mark. His eyes, once clouded with bitterness, now shimmered with vulnerability as he read the words of a mother longing to mend the rift between them. "Oh my God, I can't believe this," Mark had whispered, his voice trembling as he looked up from the letter, tears pooling in his eyes. I thought she didn't care. I thought it was too late." Hannah had reached out, her hand resting gently on his. "It's not too late. You both have a chance to heal." As they sat together, the weight of the past slowly lifted, allowing them to breathe again. It was a moment of shared understanding that sparked hope. They had spent the rest of the evening talking, opening up about their fears and desires, slowly rebuilding the connection that had been frayed by years of misunderstanding. Cultural reflection. On the porch, it hurt like heartbreak. Now, as she sipped her coffee, Hannah thought about how different life could be. The sun warmed her skin, but the chill of betrayal lingered, reminding her of her sister Claire's jealousy and resentment. She could still hear Claire's sharp words from the night before, echoing in her mind. "You're just going to let him back in after everything? You don't know what he's capable of." Hannah had felt her heart sink at Claire's accusation. "He's not the enemy here, Claire. We're all trying to navigate this mess together," she had replied, trying to maintain her composure. "Together? Or are you just enabling him?" Claire shot back, her voice laced with disdain. Yet, through the tension, Hannah had stood firm. She believed in the power of love, even if it had been obscured by shadows. Now, as she reflected on the night, she sensed the air shifting. It felt as though the very fabric of their family was starting to weave itself anew. Mark had called his mother after their conversation, and Hannah could almost picture Eleanor's surprised face as they spoke. Slowly, their relationship began to mend. Mark and Eleanor were tentatively rediscovering their love for one another, acknowledging the pain, but also the bond that had always existed beneath the surface. The birds continued to chirp, filling the morning with their sweet song, a reminder that life goes on, even amidst the chaos. Preserve the original language of warmth as she thought of how, despite everything, they were forging new bonds rooted in understanding. Mark's laughter, once of distant memory, now echoed in the corners of her mind. "Let's make pancakes today," she suggested, breaking the silence that had settled between them as they stood at the kitchen counter, flour dusting their hands. Mark grinned, the expression transforming his face. "You read my mind. I could eat a mountain of them." The moment felt light, a breath of fresh air in the midst of heavy emotions. As they flipped the pancakes, the smell wafting through the house felt like a signal of new beginnings, a bridge over the chasms of their past. Reflection, that moment on the porch changed everything. But as they sat down to eat, Hannah's thoughts drifted back to Claire. Would she ever accept this new dynamic? Could they truly move forward as a united family? Hannah felt a flicker of doubt, but pushed it aside. Preserve the original language of the laughter and connection blossoming around the table. Later that day, she received a text from Robert. "I'm proud of you, Hannah. You're doing the hard work. Keep it up." His words resonated within her, filling her with strength and determination. Just then, a shadow crossed her thoughts. What if the past was too powerful to overcome? What if Claire's bitterness would always loom over their family? A knot tightened in her stomach, but she inhaled deeply, letting the scent of pancakes and coffee ground her. As the sun began to set, casting golden hues across the sky, Hannah found herself on the porch once again, reflecting on the day's events. The warmth of the sun felt like a promise of hope, but the shadows of doubt still lingered in her mind. "Mark," she called softly, hoping to draw him away from his thoughts. "What if we can't mend everything? What if we can't be a family again?" He stepped out onto the porch, his brow furrowing as he considered her words. "Hannah, it's going to take time, but if we're willing to fight for each other, we can make it work." His certainty ignited something within her, a glimmer of faith that perhaps they could overcome the barriers built by years of silence. Hannah took a deep breath, her heart swelling with a mix of hope and apprehension. "And you, on your porch, will you choose to believe in the power of forgiveness?" Hannah smiled for the first time in days. "Everything will be okay." Mark nodded. "You're stronger than you know."